Hello, what's up everybody, and welcome to the second video. I know I was a little bit long, but I've prepared for you some really good stuff, which this video is today. So I wanted to start to replace the history. If you know already or not, the different times, the dates, the periods. Even if a lot doesn't believe in dinosaur or the evolution, today I want it like this because this is all they're teaching us. And I think to discover the truth, you gotta know and study everything to better situate yourself on the time and to understand. I hope you're really gonna like, you're gonna have a good time. Take some popcorn. This is gonna be like a good movie. Yeah, enjoy. Maybe you're gonna have some surprise. You're gonna learn some stuff you don't know. Maybe, who knows? So I hope you get your popcorn and then you're ready to start. This is the beginning of the creation, scientifically the Big Bang Theory. Even if today, after the last research, the scientists are not really sure and they never was, everything gonna start here. Come the creation of our universe, the stars, the planets, including the Earth. The Earth form was only one great continent, beginning the formation of molecules who give the energy to the material, named photosynthesis. The bacteria will begin with the first aquatic life, such as mollusks, the jellyfish, and this one that I found is amazing, and the first arthropods, like trilobites, followed by the amphibian tetrapods a few million years later. After, some of these amphibians have become reptiles, and the reptiles will give the ancestor of dinosaur, the Dimetrodon. The dinosaur will go through several cycles of evolution during three large periods such as the Jurassic that everyone knows from the movie Jurassic Park. Their reign will during 2 million years until the famous meteorites which will fail and create the 18-feet crater in Mexico and finish to divide the continent that we know today. Few small mammals survive and begin their evolution to become the first primates, monkey. Here begins Darwin's theory, which is the evolution of animals and plant species to survive. Some scientists doesn't agree this theory or some other believe it, but not the one from Darwin. We enter now prehistory or the Paleolithic, which means carving stone. It is the period of the first man and it will last a long time. A period or some will cohabit with mammoths during the Ice Age. The Paleolithic ends with a little of Neolithic, means here polished stone, and it's here that the formation of village, culture and animal will begin. Antiquity starting with the Bronze Age, where we discover the first true civilization, the Sumerian in the old Iraq. Followed at the same time by the civilization that we all know, the Egyptian in Egypt, and a little later in India we're gonna discover the valley of Hindu, the Arapi, and in China they're gonna start with the Qing dynasty. During this time on the other continent they also developed themselves since the Neolithic. The first known empire will be in the Andes with the Cairo. Each dynasty will have its time, like the Egyptian, which will last 3,000 years. Divided into different dynasties, the last one ended when the last king gave his throne to Alexander the Great, who is Greek. A lot of war will take place, and it's the beginning of the Roman expansion. At this time, France, under the Roman Empire, will be called the Gauls. And it's a little later at this period that we will know Julius Caesar or the famous Cleopatra, who will be the last queen of Egypt. The Egyptian dynasty will officially end and the Roman Empire begin. Period with a lot of names, dates, movement. It's the time with a lot of things gonna start to be created and changed. Here we are, year 0. The year which is also represented at the birth of Jesus. The Old Testament was writing during the 8th century before, and the New Testament the two next. Then we come to the 4th century. Is it the end of the Gaul and the fall of the Roman Empire? Welcome in the Middle Age, which will last 10 centuries, separate into three great dynasties with the first king of France of the Carolingian family, followed by the Capetian and finished by the Merovingian. Many things happened: the expansion of political religion with the First Crusade, some few alliances and few battles like the Battle of 100 Years, then it's a mix of 4 battles together. Is it the beginning of the history of France and these royal families which are at the center of the influence with the evolution of monotheist religion? And at this time we will see appear the Quran in Arabia. Before the end of this period, Jeanne d'Arc, French heroine, will be burned in the north of France for different reasons, including witchcraft. At this time, every person considered like a wizard was burned. To finish the century with the discovery of America and the native by Christophe Colomb, the slavery will begin slowly, step by step, in some country. And in reality, do you know that the first to have discovered America was a Viking, Leif Erikson, 500 years ago? Here we are in a modern time, in the 16th century, when the time of the King Henry II, or the Crazy King, and his queen Catherine de Medicis begins. It's an interesting and important time which we're gonna discover the prediction of Nostradamus and a lot of more. In the next century, slavery officially started in America with the first boat from Africa. But it will disappear strongly the century after in France first because it's the French Revolution, with the beginning of the abolition of slavery. Haitian people will be the first to win their independence in 1804, followed by the total abolition 44 years after in France. During this time, in USA unfolds war like the Civil War with Abraham Lincoln, whose fight against the South and the slavery. After this century, it will be abolished in the rest of the world. Finally, in the 20th century, France created the separation of church from states, means that France no longer represents any religion and leave everyone free to believe in what they want. This century will see many wars in the world marked in history as these 2 world wars. The first 14 to 18 destructive and abominable. Is it there? Then they got the first coming back of soldier completely crazy. Abominable as the Second World War started 39 to 45 to fight Hitler and his group of Nazis, which got crazy idea is to completely exterminate a whole population. In China is the war also with the Japanese invasion, which had some conflict with the USA too. Is there that we see created the kamikaze with the Japanese army and the first incendiary bomb dropped by the USA and created these 2 famous cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We arrive at the beginning of the war in Palestine, war which still continued and unfortunately has not become better at all since this time. We all know what happened just 3 months ago with the return of the Taliban in total control of the country. It was crazy. Begin the War of Algeria with the French invasion, which will calm down with the arrival of Charles de Gaulle, who became French president. On the other side of the ocean is the start of the Vietnam War, which will be the longest of the century and will last 20 years. This war will start a peace movement in the 60s. Is it the beginning of the EP? Peace and love, which will fighting for a lot of cause and not only peace, but will stop 10 years later for a different reason. But it's more because the society didn't like it. Since so much happened all over the world, some of us remember the fall of the World Trade Center or even experiencing natural disaster or the virus that we've been living since now 2 years. What will be after this? What will be the next things to be marked in history? I would like that we could finally mark a date for the end of the war in Palestine because since all this time it still didn't stop. I hope you like that video and like me during the creation you'll be able to imagine yourself for a few seconds in each time and we realize oh that's giant, all the time is big. And I ask myself a question that I would like you to ask yourself too. Are you sure that all of this is true? During all this time of history, do you think that it's possible that some information has been changed? You know, like the Chinese whispers. Started with like, I eat cake and ended with he ate beans. Like, think about it, please. Like the video, comment and share, then we can be as much as possible to start together. And I see you next time. Peace and love.